Hello, lovely Christmas friends. We are in festive season. I have already started wearing some stuff that I quite like at this time of year, although I'm saving up all my kind of favourites until a little bit closer to Christmas. I also have worn a couple of new things, a couple of old things. I've got a real mixture going on here. So let's start with one of the new ones. This is Cinders from Lush. So this is essentially it's cinnamon, orange and almond. So this is extremely heavy in the cinnamon. It's a really strong cinnamon perfume. If you don't like cinnamon, you're not going to like this. There's a lot of orange. It's not overly sweet. There is that slight sweet creaminess coming from the almond. And the more it dries down, the more you get a little bit more of that. But it definitely stays very tangy, very citrusy. The orange is super heavy. And yeah, it's just a cinnamon bomb. So in terms of wearing this, it was fun to wear it, but this is one that I think I really have to be in the mood for this kind of thing. But also, I think I'd love this to spray around my room. That's how I feel about Twilight as well. Sometimes there are just perfumes from Lush that I think aren't necessarily the easiest thing to wear, because this smells so much like natural orange and natural cinnamon that it does kind of smell a bit like a pomander. So it's got this extremely natural smelling, citrusy, cinnamon, Christmassy vibe. And I didn't find it the easiest to wear for a long period of time, and it did last for quite a long time. But I do think it's really awesome, and I think if you love orange and you love cinnamon, you're probably going to love this. But yeah, so that's Cinders. That's one of the limited edition ones. I'm seeing how many I can fit on this very, very, very tiny little thing. Let's see. Next up. Oh, yes. I actually wore this one and I don't love it, so I'm probably not going to keep this. This is the Wicked times Lush Glinda Upland. So the Glinda one, the pink one, this is the rosy one. And yeah, I think this is going to have to be a twist and round one so I can fit everything on. But this one, notes are rose oil, Palma rosa oil, sesame seed absolute, vanilla absolute, almond oil, orris, benzoin and coumarin. And it's just alright. The thing is, it just really smells like Lush. It properly smells like a Lush shop. It is definitely a bit sweeter and a bit smoother than some of the other things I've smelt that I just think smell like Lush. But I just didn't love wearing it. It's all right. I mean, looking at the notes, you do get a bit of vanilla, you get a bit of the almond in the dry down, the sesame, and there's also apparently pistachio in this, and I wouldn't really have recognised that. You get quite a lot of rose though. So it's definitely got a hint of rose jam, a hint of things like Amelie May. It's all a hint of those, but it's got a slightly creamier dry down. And I just don't love it. So I didn't really enjoy wearing it. I think that the Glinda, the Elphaba Throp one is a much more interesting perfume. So yeah, that one, I wasn't loving it. So I ended up spraying this one on as well. A bit of Snow Fairy, because Snow Fairy is a bit of a classic for me. I'm always happy to wear Snow Fairy. I'm just going to see if this will brighten up a bit. So Snow Fairy is cotton candy, sweet notes, cherry, vanilla and pear, and it's got like a kind of bubblegummy, plasticky, weird smell. I've seen a lot of American people really hate this perfume, and it's interesting because I think for me this is such a kind of British sweetie smell. It smells like pick and mix. It's got a real specific, strange smell about it, and I imagine that the kind of foam sweets that this smells like, I imagine you don't get them in the US. So this is probably something that has like a nostalgic appeal to me, and that maybe American people just find rank, because yeah, it's really funny how divided people are on this one. This is very popular in the UK. People love Snow Fairy. My husband really likes this one as well. So then we have, this is really pretty. It's very sweet. And it gets compared to Paradox, but I find Prada Paradox to be like a super floral scent, and I don't think this one is. There's flowers, but I don't think it's really, really floral. So this is Antonio Banderas Icon Splendid. So, or Splendid. I always do that with a weird accent. I can't help myself. It's because it's an Antonio Banderas perfume. Maybe that, I don't know. Someone tell me how you're actually supposed to pronounce it with more of a kind of Spanish flair. So, top notes of pear, black pepper and tangerine. Mid notes of peony, orange blossom, guaiacán. Every time I read that, I'm like, oh, I wonder what that is. Base notes, praline, rose, sandalwood, vanilla and musk. So, the main thing I get from this, though, is the pear, the praline and the vanilla. There is a creaminess to this that I think probably comes from the orange blossom and the musk. But it's very sweet. It's a lot of praline, but then with a very, very juicy pear. And I said when I first got this, and I definitely feel the same. When I first put it on, it reminds me of Donna Aqua. But the longer it's on my skin, it starts to remind me a bit of something akin to Manifesto. I'm not saying it actually smells like Manifesto, but I've got a sample of Manifesto, and I also had the dupe, the one that I found a bit body lotiony, Woman's Best, I think it's called. And that one, this kind of reminds me of a non-body lotiony version of that kind of thing. It's that level of sweetness, it's that kind of creamy skin scent, but then it has this really juicy pear on the top. Yeah, so it's really fun to wear. It doesn't last very long, but I'm hoping this will get stronger because it is so intensely sweet, you never know. But I really like it. I think it's such a pretty perfume. And I've got another Antonio Banderas on the way to try, which also has pear in it, because I was looking at that one for ages and I saw it for a really good price on Latino. So that one's on its way to me. I'll report back. Okay, what we got next? What's the best place to put this monster? It was time. We had some very cold weather this week. In fact, today, oh my goodness. It's been another bit of a mixed week though. We've had like a couple of really cold days, really windy days, and then a sort of mild for December days. And then today we woke up. When I say we woke up, none of us slept very well because it was so windy. It was insane. There is some kind of storm going on, and it's been utterly grey, dark, miserable, windy and rainy all day. So lovely on a Saturday, lovely weekend treat. Work all week and then you get to just go sit through a storm. Anyway, it was perfect timing for me to break this bad boy out. This is Wild Cobra from Saffron. If you can even see it in this light, I'm going to put it here. And then I'm going to try and get that to focus on it. So this is my dupe of Poison. It's my dupe of choice of Poison. I've tried a few kind of indie dupe houses and I didn't like any of those. I've tried some of them kind of bigger dupe houses. I didn't really like any of those. Well, not that I didn't like them, it's just they kind of remind me a little bit more of Red Door by Elizabeth Arden, because I found it really hard to find a dupe of Poison that really captured the plummy note that you have in Poison. And that's one of my favourite things about this perfume, or that perfume I should say. But this is, because it's a dupe, it's a little bit lighter, it's a little bit easier to wear, but it still has all the elements I love about Poison. Someone commented on a video of me talking about this a while back, saying that they'd bought this and they thought it smelled like Poison at first, and then I think they said it dried down into Curve Crush on their skin by Liz Claiborne, which is interesting because I have had Curve Crush and that one to me turned more into kind of an oxygen kind of smell, so it kind of turned into a creamy, fresh spa powdery scent, and this doesn't do that at all. This on me smells like a kind of sheerer version of Poison, and I love it. So I don't have the notes for Wild Cobra from Saffron London because you can't find notes for this one anywhere. So I'll just read you the notes from Poison because this is definitely a dupe of Poison. Plum, wild berries, coriander, anise and Brazilian rosewood in the top. Mid notes of tuberose, incense, white honey, cinnamon, opopanox, carnation, jasmine, African orange flower and rose. Base notes vanilla, amber, sandalwood, heliotrope, musk, vetiver and Virginia cedar. So I would say this one isn't as smoky, it's not as strong, it's not as thick, and it's got a bit more of the plum and wild berry, so it makes it a kind of easier wear, but it still, to me, has the essence of Poison, and I always feel like such an absolute boss wearing this perfume, or anything that at all smells like poison. It is grown up. It definitely has a vintage flair, but it's dark and magical and just, oh, honeyed, plum, tuberose. Oh, so good. I love it. So anyway, that is that one. And then I haven't worn this one for ages. Let me get it the right way around. Yeah, I really enjoyed wearing this. This is one that when I smell it from the cap, I don't really love it as much as I do when I actually wear it. And when I wear it, I really, really like it. It's very cosy. This is Choo Illicit. I know it's hard to see all these things with this setup, but I just had so many of these guys today. Let's see if I can brighten this up a little bit. Nah, it's not happening, is it? Ooh, actually, what if I put it over here? Can you see it a bit better? Oh, anyway. Oh, I'll stop fiddling. Let's just put it here for now. Anyway, Choo Illicit, the original Illicit. And this one is another sweet, creamy floral. So this is ginger, bitter orange in the top, mid notes of jasmine, sambac, orange blossom and rose. Base notes, honey, amber, caramel, vanilla, sandalwood and cashmere wood. I think when you first spray this, you definitely get the bitter orange. You definitely get quite a lot of ginger. And for me, orange blossom is the strongest thing here. And I've really started to come around to orange blossom. I'm kind of less stressed out by it than I used to be. I had to get used to it though, because I feel like it can be quite an overwhelming floral. And then you definitely get the honey and the caramel and a ton of the cashmere wood. So if I was looking at kind of the notes that stick out here, I think ginger, honey, caramel, cashmere wood, orange blossom with a hint of literal bitter orange. I don't really get loads of jasmine or rose, and I think the caramel and honey is much kind of more obvious here than the vanilla. But this does, I was thinking about it when I was wearing it, there's something about this perfume that reminds me a little bit of Terre de Lumiere from L'Occitane, which I love that perfume, but that is a lavender and honey perfume. This has a similar honey, and it's just, it's not exactly the same to wear, but there's definitely some crossovers in how I feel when I'm wearing that to when I was wearing this. This one is stronger and it is better in colder weather than Terre de Lumiere, which I think is a honey perfume that shines best in hot weather, same as is it called Pure Honey from Kim Kardashian? So this one I just think works quite well because it's got that cozy cashmere wood and then it's got caramel as well. But this also has a profile that's kind of similar to Cinema from YSL. So this is kind of the more affordable alternative to a couple of things. It's more gourmand than Cinema, but it has a similar profile. But it's also got the same kind of slightly floral, honeyed, interesting scent that Terre de Lumiere has. So yeah, this could be a really good alternative to a couple of my more expensive perfumes. And I just think this is really fun to wear. It's really nice. So that's Illicit. And then this one, now I wore this one and I was thinking to myself, I'd prefer this in warmer weather. I mean, it's a beautiful perfume, but I think it definitely smells slightly yummier in warmer weather than it did when I wore it on a really cold day. Because I think it doesn't smell quite as sweet in the colder weather, and I think it's better when it smells a bit more sweet. This is Eau de Orient from Rituals. Sadly discontinued because, you know, all the cool things get discontinued. But anyway, a lovely perfume. All they say about this is that there's oriental notes, incense, woody notes and pepper. But I think if you add in, for instance, like a ton of tonka bean, then you've got a little bit more of an idea of what this smells like. I'd really like to know like more accurate notes about this, but it does have a warm, spicy feel in a way. It does have a slightly incensey feel, but it's kind of more of a warm black pepper and definitely woody, but it's very sweet considering there's no like vanilla or tonka listed here. But yeah, this is a pretty one. You're probably going to have to get it on eBay nowadays, which is a shame. And then the last thing I wore was another one I haven't worn for ages, and oh my goodness, I forgot how strong this is. This is such a beast. It's like a crazy beast. And to be honest, even though this is a dupe of Poison, this lasted all day. I put it on at like 8 in the morning. When I left work at 5, I could still smell it going strong. It's like truly impressive. This one, same thing. Absolute beast all day. So this is Versace Crystal Noir. This is the Eau de Parfum version. And I mean, I like the EDT version as well, to be honest. It's just, it was partly because I prefer this bottle to the EDT that I had, because the EDT was a bigger bottle. I think this is a 30ml, and I had a 50ml. And the 50ml just like had such a huge lid. It was just a bit overbalanced. I didn't kind of like how it looked, and I much prefer how this looked. But they smelled to me relatively similar, and this is so strong. This is such a musk bomb, I sort of couldn't believe how musky it was. I'd forgotten because I hadn't worn it for so long, and I can totally see why some people don't like this perfume, because I think if you're not careful, this is definitely one that can wear you rather than you wearing it. But it is absolutely beautiful at the same time, and I do wonder whether it is the intense, creamy muskiness going on here that people find a little bit sexy about this, because I do think that sometimes like really musky perfumes just are a bit sexy. This is one of those weird ones where, again, the notes, do they make sense? I don't know. It says for the Versace Crystal Noir EDP on Fragrantica, it says that the notes are pepper, ginger, cardamom, mid notes of coconut, gardenia, orange blossom and peony, base notes of sandalwood, musk and amber. This always smells to me like there's fig in it. This definitely smells a little bit coconutty to me. It's got, and I mean, again, it could just be that sometimes sandalwood turns a little bit coconutty. This definitely to me is a little bit, it has like warm spices in it, but this always smells really cold to me, this perfume. It smells refrigerated for some reason. I don't find this to be like a warm perfume to wear, but it's very strong. It is sweet, but it's also got a tangy sharpness in there. I always used to say it's like a coconut yogurt, and that is kind of what it makes me think of. And the gardenia is thick. It's creamy, but it's not buttery. Same with the orange blossom. I would say, I mean, there's no fruits in here, but I do feel like there's something figgy going on. Yeah, definitely musk, definitely sandalwood, definitely gardenia, coconut, a little bit of orange blossom and some ginger for sure. And then I guess the cardamom is what gives this that weird plasticky smell, because all my perfumes I have that have cardamom in, they all smell a little bit like plastic to me, but in like a nice way, like a dull, heady, plasticky way. But yeah, this is genuinely, I think, one of the strongest perfumes I own. It is insanely strong. It's actually also one that someone has told me is really good in warmer weather. So I don't know if I could wear this in like actual warm weather, because it is so strong to me. But I also wonder if maybe wearing this in slightly milder weather brings out the sweetness, because I think the last time I wore it, I remember feeling like it dried down to have quite a sweet, almost vanilla-y dry down, and I didn't really get that this time. It felt much colder in this cold weather. So yeah, I mean, I feel very grown up in it. I feel like a boss lady. But it's not, I don't find it cozy at all. So yeah, like this was really cozy. This is relatively cozy. This one's cozy. But these two were like, I was an absolute, boss. They made me feel very grown up. So yeah, this week, how do I feel about it? If I'm honest, it's been a real mixed week of trying out some things that I didn't love, or things that I kind of have loved at certain times, but I wasn't like crazy for this time. So like these two I was less mad for than when I've worn them in the past. This I think I probably liked more than when I'd worn it in the past, and I was getting kind of, maybe it's because it was reminding me a bit of Terre de Lumiere, and I love that perfume. So yeah, and I mean this is quite new still. This is nice. But yeah, it wasn't my favourite week that I've done, to be honest, but it was still fun. I've not like worn anything other than the Wicked one that I'm going to get rid of. All of them are still like keepers. They're just not been my favourite, or like not particularly at this time of year. I did actually really enjoy Smelling Like Poison because I mean, that's just kind of magic. And since I have this lighter one, it's much easier for me to deal with, you know, like the original Poison. There's just never really an occasion for me to wear that perfume because it is so strong, like a full beast. And I'm never really out anywhere where I need to be wearing a really strong perfume. Now, this week coming up is going to be a really fun one, though, because I've got my department Christmas lunch, and then I've got the work Christmas party, and yeah, I can't remember if there's anything else coming up, but I've got a couple of actual occasions coming up next week. So I'll be wearing some of my more occasion-worthy perfumes, if you see what I mean. Some of my more fancy ones, or ones that I just absolutely adore. So yeah, that's going to be really, really fun. I'll be breaking out some of the more fancy stuff. And when I say fancy, I don't necessarily mean expensive. I mean just stuff that I think smells quite fancy. So yeah. Sorry if I was a bit quiet today. My voice feels a bit strange. I don't know. I think like I might have a very mild cold, but I'm not going to let it destroy me. Thanks, guys. Let me know if you've got any of these. Let me know what you think. Sorry I wasn't a bit more cheerful today. It's just a bit gloomy outside, I think. I'm going to have to put on a Christmas film and cheer up a bit. Yeah, thank you for watching. If you are subscribed, I thank you very much. If you're not subscribed, please do consider subscribing. It makes a huge difference to my channel. And coming up, we've got 3 weeks of my perfume collection. So far I've only filmed the display, so I've got 3. It's broken up into 3, otherwise it would have been like an hour-long video, and it would have been a bit overwhelming, I think, to watch all of that in one go. So, you know, so much information. So I've got 3 videos with my perfumes that are on display in my bedroom. When I get a chance, I will then show you stuff that's in cupboards and the little mini ones and stuff that I've got in drawers. But for now, I hope you enjoy that, because that's my little Christmas treat, because people have been asking me for my collection videos for so long, and I finally got around to filming them. So I hope you enjoy that. They'll be every Wednesday up until, I think the last one's on Christmas Day. So yeah, I'll see you though next Sunday, and you'll find out what I wore for my week of activities, and also, unfortunately, just going to work and doing normal things as well. All right, bye guys.